Stand by. The program will begin soon. I don't know why I'm talking about this. During World War II, we sent 90 million pounds of spam just to the Russians alone. I mean, we sent it all over the world. Our troops, especially in the Pacific Theater, ate it. That was basically what they ate all the time. 90 million pounds to the Russians. Apparently in like the 50s, Nikita Khrushchev said, you know, if they hadn't sent us all this spam, they might not have been able to feed their troops during World War II. So a little weird canned kind of ham pork product, canned meat, may have won World War II. And the Fed is trending on X. And I wasn't sure why, and I'm still not 100% sure why, although part of it is because of this building that they're renovating. They're supposed to be renovating one of the buildings at the Fed, right? And the other day, Donald Trump came out there with Jerome Powell, and they're talking about how the renovation of the building was kind of a little bit over budget, okay? First of all, listen, the numbers on this are crazy. They wanted $2.something billion to renovate a building at the Fed. $2.1 billion. Well, this is $2.5 billion. But they're over budget by over $1 billion for one building. They're over budget over $1 billion for one building. $1 billion friggin' dollars for one building. This isn't even for building a new building. It's for renovating a building. What the actual F are they doing? If after a night of filling your rectum with vodka from a turkey baster, the cops find you changing a flat in the cereal aisle of a Piggly Wiggly and ask how much you've had to drink, and you say, nothing, are you lying? Well, no. Now, if they had been asking, have you been injecting? You'd have to say yes, but they said, have you been drinking? Well, no, absolutely. Yeah, Lord Stanhope, absolutely not. In fact, you all can try to answer these questions. Stand by. The program will begin soon. A WNBA game got stopped in the middle of the game because one of the players lost their wig while they're playing, and they had to run off. And then some fan made fun of the player, and they had to run. And they kicked the fan out for making fun of a player losing the weave. Not the weave, it was a wig. Losing their wig. They had to have a timeout for the wig, a wig emergency. Which I'm like, why the F are you wearing a wig while you're playing basketball? But then yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, a game had to be stopped briefly because someone threw a big old green dildo on the floor. Someone threw a dildo out on the floor, out of the court. They had to stop the game. I don't know if they caught the person who sent the dildo, but the green dildo was on the court, and a good large number of the players had no idea what to do with something of that shape, but that's okay. It happened, and then someone made this t-shirt or this meme, pay us what you owe us, which has a dildo on it. So that was... Hey, you know what the really good interrupt violence through community-based bystander training? Yeah, if the bystanders beat the fuck out of someone who's attacking somebody else, that would be great bystanders. They could send them to the MMA gym, you know, put them in an arm bar, smack them in the face a few times. Stop doing that bullshit. That would be the best community-based bystander training, but I don't think that's what he needs. Anyway. And then the other one, they'll go back all the way to Dylan Roof. Dylan Roof's the other one, which, does anyone, okay, let me ask you something. A lot of you are right-leaning or on the right. Is there anybody in this that anyone you know of? Is there anyone that you know of on the right who supports or supported Dylan Roof? Because I know everyone I can think of who's like, Dylan Roof, fuck that guy. He went out and murdered people in a church. Fuck that guy. But the left is like, oh, he was a right-wing extremist. Nah, he's a fucking asshole. Fuck that guy. Yeah, fuck Dylan Roof. Nobody gives a shit about Dylan Roof. Nobody claims him. Nobody wants him. He's an asshole. Okay? He's a little punk bitch asshole who killed a bunch of people in a church. Stand by. The program will begin soon. Reverend Robin Bartlett of First Church of Sterling, Massachusetts, uses John 1:14 in the Bible to justify why she brings her 11-year-old son to drag shows. This is what we're getting in the Rainbow Church. The Rainbow Church aren't exactly hiding. That's true. The Word became flesh and lived among us, and my body, your body, their bodies are home for the living God. That is why I take my 11-year-old boy to drag shows in the summer with my friend and fellow church leaders, Kate, and her 11-year-old boy. Especially if you're a man, bodies can be celebrated and played with. That's her message. What the fuck? California wants to let someone that is not related to your child remove her from school, him or her, enroll her in any other school in the state, authorize any medical treatment, including mental health services and drugs, without the parent's notice and knowledge or consent. Can you see what that might be a problem? This is not fear-mongering. I'm not being hyperbolic. She warned these are unintended consequences, and it is terrifying. They are unconscionable, unavoidable. So that's one of the really bad California law that they're coming with. I can't believe. I just dumbfounded that they're doing. Now this is interesting. That new mayor candidate, the leading Democratic mayor candidate for New York City mayor, Damme, wants cops to stop responding to attacks on Jews. And by the way, Jews in the New York City are victims of the majority of hate crimes. Not a plurality, but the majority of hate crimes against people in New York are against Jewish people. And especially religious hate crimes. Anyway, 345 hate crimes in New York City last year, more than all other minority groups combined, according to New York Police Department data. And Jewish crimes accounted for 54% of the 641 total hate crimes reported to police in the city in 2024. Since the beginning of the year, 60% of the 123 reported hate crimes have targeted Jews, according to the New York Police Department. Well, Zohran Mamdani, the radical Islamist and leftist terror supporter, has proposed that the New York Police Department not respond to hate crimes, instead that they be handled by social workers. Either this shifts resources away from responding to attacks on Jews and moves away from having law enforcement deal with those attacks, and instead has his political leftist allies deal with them by burying them. Every day on my show, if I put something on the screen, or I'm talking about it, or it's a topic or an article that I'm presenting in this show, I provide links to every single thing that I've talked about, and even more, the ones I didn't even get to. I drop them in the chat at the end of the show, and also I drop them in the description. So if you want to find these articles, they will be in the links at the end of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only PDawgKnight.
Yeah. Okay, who decided that the word moist was going to show up in my chat over and over? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel, where suddenly I keep seeing the word moist. Moist. And also, why are all y'all got some numbers behind your names? Is there something going on goofy with YouTube? That's weird. Anyway, hi, how you doing? Happy Friday. For those of you who celebrate the weekends or do stuff on the weekends, anyone got any plans for the weekends? Mine are I mean, we're gonna go drive around and look at pretty colors and stuff. Like, we're gonna go check out the leaves and stuff because it's all fall colors and shit around here. And you know, that's just what we do in the fall in Minnesota, because it's just one of those things, you know. But other than that, I don't have a lot of plans. It's fairly cold out today too. I woke up this morning, it was 33 friggin' degrees, which I suppose is not completely unusual. You know, I live in Minnesota and it's October, but usually, you know, it's usually still in the 50s and 60s in October. It was cold as F this morning. More proof of global warming, by the way. Anyway, let's get into the show, because I want to do Friday Q&A, and I see Avocados Diablo's back, so I have to allot a little extra time. By the way, I'm glad you're well, sir. I was worried about you, and I see what you wrote in the chat what was going on with you, so I won't repeat it. If you just scroll up in the chat, AD explained what was going on with him, and I'm glad you're better, or I'm assuming you're better because you're here. And take care of yourself, my friend. Take care of yourself. All right, let's get it started. By the way, we already have a sponsor. Our first sponsor today is Gunfox61, dropping a Hamilton in the tip jar. That makes you the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. And he has he's going to hijack the show for a short time with an article. It says, U.S. News, why are they this stupid? So we'll get to that immediately after I say hi to everybody and talk about what holidays it is. So let's do that. Let's say hi first in the chat today. Uh-oh, what happened here? It's all messed up. Hang on. Why did those flip? That's weird. Let's widen this out, because I think I'm pretty sure. Whoa. What the hell happened? Oh, it is Avocados Diablo. And first in the chat is Avocados Diablo. Who gets the bell? Yeah. I couldn't see it because it's covered up with my stuff, so I had to flip this open. I realized we don't need spacers anymore, because I figured out that if you just expand the window, it'll drop everything down so you can read it. And so I'm going to start doing that. So thank you for AD for doing this for so long. It took me this long from doing Friday Q&A to figure out how to do that. So I learned something. I learned something new every day. And I'm going to try not to cough too much. By the way, the cup of coffee today is in the Pablo Picasso cup. Pablo Picasso. I went to Picasso's boyhood home in Malaga, Spain. It was lovely. Thank you, Duck Dog. Duck Dog, man, welcome back. Oh my gosh, old home, man. Duck Dog is in the house and dropping a deuce in the tip jar through YouTube SuperChats, saying that climate change, you got to use the right buzzword. Yeah, no, I still like using global warming, because that's really what they're still saying. I mean, you know, they're like, as if the globe is, yes. Temperatures change, climate changes. Climates change throughout the existence of the earth. In fact, we're in a historically low temperature range in the current year compared to the eternity, not entities, the eternity of the United States. What am I talking about? Of the globe, of the world, you know? And so, you know, and as I like to say, let me put a little effect on this. Global warming ever since the Ice Age. There you go. Turn that off. Thank you. There we go. All right. All right. Anyway, good morning, Avocados Diablo. Also, Miss Wild Wolves in the house. Nice to have you back. But you've been here every day. Midnight, our young friend, learning about current events. Let's see. I got Carfalis. Who's that? Hello, Carfalis. Have you been here before? I appreciate you being here. And I'm scrolling down. Jay Blizz is in the house. Yeah, this is a YouTube thing. Something going on with these numbers. They're putting numbers behind everybody. Jay Blizz, aka JB. Moist Tree Rat, aka TC. The squirrel thing. And who else is here? Gunfox61, the amazing administrator of the PDawgKnight Discord server. Oh, by the way, Gunfox, can you do me a favor? Can you put a link? I got to change the link to the Discord, I think. Well, see if it works. Ms. Wildwolf in the chat, occasionally Johnny Boomer Tech puts a link to the Discord, and all you have to do is click that link and it'll put you in the Discord server. So that's that. Blue Eyed Screams in the house. Kara Soldier, what's up? Who else as I scroll down here? Somnambule Nation and Johnny Boomer Tech's always here. Anon, 1, 2, 3. Except now your numbers changed. That's weird. Whatever that's going on with YouTube, it changed your number. Kara Soldier, I think I already said. If I didn't, I say it now. And anybody else here? I can't tell. I'm scrolling. No, that's it. The Pope's here. The Pope, Tyrannus the Third, the Blessed Lich, with our daily message of hope, courtesy of the third part of the triumvirate, the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. Jay Bills has got to go. Wait, everyone. I see. Pope Tyrannus the Third, with your old at. Oh, I see. It's putting ats in here instead of your name. That's weird. Blessing of the Merciful Dead today. Find something you are passionate about and do it with conviction. As long as you put your heart into it, it is not a waste of time and effort. Yes, a very good message. That's a beautiful message from the Pope Tyrannus III. Also, who else is here? Anna Lynn's in the house. What's up, Mischievous Moist Josh? That's one of those moist words in there again, because the tree rat's got something moist, something. And then, okay, I just figured out what's going on here. Also, wait a minute. Okay, never mind. Number one is in the house. Nice to have you here. And is that everybody? I don't know. Close enough. Oh, wait, who's that? Oh, that's okay, Mischievous. Oh, Unacceptable Views, my other favorite Canadians here. And, oh gosh, this goes down. There's a bunch of people here. All right, anyway, it is Free for All Friday, which on Free for All Fridays, we always have Friday Q&A. If you'd like to ask questions, there's a link up at the top of the chat there. You can click that and go drop your Friday Q&A question. It can be, it could be a question about my life, about my family, generally about current events, or as Avocados would Diablo will demonstrate, it could be just about anything. Just ask the questions. I'll do my best to answer them. If I can't answer them, I'll make some shit up. I don't care. It's just Friday Q&A. It's Free for All Friday. I do whatever the hell I want. It's free. It's a free for all. As in the immortal words of, who did that? Is that Ted Nugent? It's a free for all. Who's did the free for all? Is that right? Anybody? Tell me if it's Ted Nugent. Here, or is that let's see, Free for All. Free for All is Ted Nugent. I was right. I was right. That's Ted Nugent's song. I knew that. All right. Well, let's get into the news, because that's what we do here. By the way, there are how many people? 18 people, 7 likes. Everybody but Avocados Diablo, hit the like button now. Avocados Diablo, you can do it whenever you decide that you like this show someday. And maybe it'll be during Friday Q&A. Maybe I'll answer a question in an acceptable way, and you will decide to deign me with the blessed like button click thingy. So there you go. All right, let's what the hell is this? Oh, I see. They have a new layout. Oh, horizontal and okay, what the hell? I don't even know what that means. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on here in this clicky thing. Oh, I see. You can choose a layout, but but apparently I can't because I don't have one set up. Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna do the show and stop looking at my back studio here. All right, I already smashed that like, so here we go. Got 2 likes from my home. All right. Oh, most mischievous Josh. Is that? Oh, that's right. That's the third of the Wild Wolf family. Okay, let me. And again, Josh, about that name, Moist. Yeah, that's weird. Okay, what was I doing? Oh, I was going to start the show. Well, since first, let's talk about the holidays. Okay, here's the holidays today. Today is National Food Day. Well, that's pretty. Wait a minute. What the hell? That's pretty broad. National Food Day. Wow. I guess go to the grocery store and buy one of everything. What the hell is that? But it says celebrate National Food Day with delicious treats and unique recipes. Try something new. Make some memories that will last a lifetime. Go make some like mole sauce or something and put it over some chicken and make some, I was going to say Mexican rice, but instead make jollof rice. That'd be like either Nigerian or Ghanaian, depending on who makes the best jollof rice. Nigerians. But yeah, National Food Day, that's pretty general. National Elizabeth Day. I don't get the name days, but whatever. It's National Bologna Day. Now, I said bologna, even though it says bologna, but have a delicious bologna sandwich, which is a bit of an oxymoron, except unless you really like bologna. I don't know. That's whatever. It's United Nations Day. Oh, sorry. Did I do that out loud? I did. Global Champagne Day. Now, champagne actually is only a product of France, and fuck the French. Well, they're fucking themselves right now. So anyway, but if you like champagne, that. World Polio Day. I don't like it when they name things like this. You know, the disease days. When they name the disease day this way, they make it sound like, oh, let's celebrate polio. Maybe it should be World Polio Prevention Day. Get your little polio shot or your polio vaccine. But no, they call it World Polio Day. Like, oh, let's celebrate polio. I'm not doing it. World Tripe Day. Oh, there you go. Tripe. Yeah, I'm not a fan of tripe, but if you're into tripe, okay, it's also, there's a lot of foods today, too. Not just National Food Day, but we got bologna, we got tripe, we got National Jamaican Jerk Day. I was going to say something rude in a Jamaican accent, but that didn't really work. Okay, and then Zombie Independence Day, National Kangaroo Awareness Day. I suppose that must be, I guess that's only in Australia, because why would we have a National Kangaroo Awareness Day here in the States? We don't have kangaroos except for a few in the zoos. As Atzeret, that's another part of the Sukkot holiday. And then World Development Information Day. Okay, I don't even care what that is. All right, let's move on. This is a dumb segment that I do sometimes. All right, let's share the article. Gunfox hijacking the show, dropping Hamilton in the tip jar. He dropped this Smithsonian. Oh no. This is what, okay, U.S. News, why are they this stupid? Okay, this is what this is what they're saying is stupid. Okay. It says Smithsonian might have to cut Space Shuttle Discovery into pieces to get it to Texas. You'd be doing irreparable damage. Now, Gunfox, maybe you can tell me what's stupid about it. Why do they have to cut it into pieces, though? Anyway, the tug of war over Space Shuttle Discovery is becoming more volatile. Discovery, the crown jewel of the Smithsonian Institution's Udvar-Hazy Center in Chantilly, Virginia, is the subject of political battle over whether the shuttle should remain part of the National Air and Space Museum's collection or be relocated to Houston, home to NASA's Johnson Space Center. New correspondence between the Space Agency, Congress, and the Smithsonian shows both progress and struggles of those efforts taking place behind the scenes. Hello. Wait. AWOL's here too. Yeah, this thing with the handles is weird. I wonder if I can change that. Can I change that anyway? No, I can't. Anyway, hi AWOL. So I'm. It's going by your ats on here, and sometimes your ats don't match your username exactly. So I'm just guessing on some of these, but I know that's AWOL. What up? I recognize the Avi. Okay. In a letter to Congress, museum officials have warned the shuttle may need to be partially disassembled in order to be transferred, risking irreversible damage to one of the most meticulously preserved pieces of space flight history. Now, I'm curious. Okay, I am curious. How did they get the shuttle in to the Smithsonian? That might give him some clues on how to take it out. I'm so confused by this story. Now the transportation of the shuttle to take it to shrink rate. That's funny. The transportation of the shuttle, I'm sure is concerning too. But they're talking about just getting it in and out of the Smithsonian, that they'd have to take it apart. How did they get it in there? Didn't they take it apart to get it in there, or did they just park it there and build a building around it? This is so confusing. Let's see. The push to move Discovery began with a failed state-level effort by U.S. Senators John Cornyn and Ted Cruz, both of Texas. Language from their Bring the Shuttle Home Act submitted to Congress was later folded into President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill and signed into law on July 4th. The Smithsonian recently confirmed that NASA and the museum have been directed by the Office of Management and Budget, OMB, to prepare to move this Discovery Space Shuttle to Houston, Texas, within the 18 months specified in the reconciliation bill, according to a letter sent to congressional committees. However, both NASA and the Smithsonian have concluded that Discovery will have to undergo significant disassembly to be moved, according to the letter, warning that doing so would destroy its historical value. How? How would it destroy its historical value? Like, when I was in the there's a World War II museum in New Orleans, okay? Lady Boomer and I were down in New Orleans for our 30th wedding anniversary, and we went to the 25th. Was it our 25th or 30th? It must have been our 25th. We go to the museum, the World War II museum, which is fantastic, by the way. If you're ever in New Orleans, you have to go to the World War II museum, and you need to give yourself like 2 full days. Or 2 full afternoons to go, because there's so much there. It is so fucking cool. But they had in that museum like actual planes for World War II. They have a whole room that's just full of planes. They got them hanging up in the rafters. They got all these planes. They got a couple on the ground. They got them all everywhere. Big giant friggin' planes that they probably had to disassemble to get them into the building. Now, those planes displayed in that building, they still have their same historical value as they did when they were actually being used in World War II. How does taking it apart and putting it back together, the Discovery, how could it destroy its historical value at all? It's still the same fucking, it's still the same. It's still the same plane, I guess you could call it. Did I play the video I sent you yesterday? I've watched about half of it. I'm still. Oh wait, which one are we talking about? Hang on, well I'll check that in a minute. Anyway, it doesn't change its historical value if it's disassembled and reassembled where in Houston or wherever you move it. It has the same historical I don't understand that whole sentence. Now, the Smithsonian's letter estimates that the move would cost $120 to $150 million, not including the cost of constructing a new facility in Texas for the shuttle display that far exceeds the $85 million allocated in the bill. Interesting. Don't they have hangars at the Houston? Joel Stieff, the organizer for KeepTheShuttle.org, the self-described group of longtime supporters attempting to raise awareness and advocate to stop Discovery's relocation. Really, longtime supporters, huh? He and the organization are not affiliated with the Smithsonian Institute, but feels important the vehicle remains at the museum, in the museum's possession. Why? Now, I look, let me just tell you right now, as I read this, I am completely ambivalent as to where that space shuttle is located. If it's located in Houston, fucking fantastic. If it's located at the Smithsonian, fucking fantastic. I don't care where it is, as long as they, have it somewhere where people can go look at it, because it's a piece of history, right? But if they gonna move it and then they move it to Houston and they take it apart and put it back together, it still has the same historical value. I don't understand. Quote, "It is very alarming," Steve told Space.com, "because the shuttle wasn't designed to be disassembled. It's not something that NASA ever contemplating doing. You would have to break the shuttle into at least 6 major component parts, probably more. Breaking down the shuttle, even into its largest component pieces, the wings, payload bay, cockpit, etc., would cause catastrophic structural damage, according to Steve." Okay, that's true. I can understand the problem. But guess what? I'm going to guess all those planes hanging in the World War II Museum, I bet they're not exactly as they were when they were being used. I bet there's some things about them that are, even though they look the same, that they're not the same. But I don't know. Oh Lord. Anyway, you would have to be taking off hundreds, probably thousands of the thermal tiles. You would have to take off the white thermal blankets, a textile that covers a lot of the white exterior of the shuttle. You'd have to be cutting up all these connectors in the shuttle, which has miles and miles of wiring and tubes and different things, Steve explained. They specifically preserved Discovery to keep all that intact so that future researchers and engineers could study and learn from the shuttle. Okay, now, I can see that being a problem. Except, did they throw away all the blueprints and all the specs and all the research that they did on it? I mean, I'm confused. I'm thoroughly confused, especially since they have new vehicles out there now that are different. So oh boy, I don't know. This is Gunfox, I would love to hear your expertise. Hello, Evan, by the way. Nice to see Evan S. I'd love to hear your opinion on this, since you are in that field. And yeah, so there you go. Thank you, Gunfox, for sharing that with me and dropping a Hamilton in the tip jar to hijack the show. If you want to hijack the show, drop a Hamilton and drop your article. All right, let's get quickly through the stuff that we go through on a weekly basis, and then we'll go to Friday Q&A. Let's start with inflation numbers came out. Inflation year to year, 3%, which is lower than expected. Inflation month to month grew by 0.3% in September, putting the annual rate at 3%. Both are below economists' projections. Now, they were projecting really nasty numbers because of the tariffs and all that stuff, but it hasn't happened yet. Now, it's interesting. What's interesting, though, as I scrolled through this, is how different entities present the information. So let me give you a couple different examples of how this is reported by different entities on X, the app formerly known as Twitter. Whatever this off the press is, breaking. The Trump administration scored a major win on Friday as new inflation data outperformed forecasts. Inflation grew only by 0.3% in September, putting the annual rate at 3%. Both are below economists' projections. Okay, that's one post talking about this. Now, this person's obviously a Trump supporter. Breaking. The Trump administration just hit a huge milestone on Friday as the new inflation data smashed expectations. Inflation only increased by 0.3% in September, bringing the annual rate down to 3%. Both figures are way below what economists had predicted, because I think it was 3.3% in November. So what basically, it's been around 3% for the last several months, which means it's a blip over the, it's based on what's last year, right? This is year to year. And if it stays that same, that means that it isn't really, unless inflation was rising really badly at the end of the year, which it was kind of flat at the end of the year last year, then it's not rising as much this year either. But they give you the month to month too, 0.3%, which they were expecting a lot higher increase because of the tariffs, right? Now, let's look at another outlet reporting on this. ABC News, as I scroll here next. Now, here's how they wrote the headline. And this is the wording they used. New consumer prices rose 3% in September compared to a year ago, extending a month-long uptick that has sent inflation to its highest level since January, government data shows. Wow, that's a completely different take than this one. That's kind of weird how they worded that. CPI, inflation rose 3% in September, slightly undershooting expectations. Inflation has increased every month since April. This is another one. So, so this is totally weird, different reactions. Again, Democrats hate hearing this news. Inflation only increased 3% in September, which means a rate cut is coming soon. Well, we'll see. I'm not sure if the Fed's going to do anything drastic. New York Post, inflation rises to 3% in September, paving way for further okay, this is the same headline, same theme, paving the way for Fed rate cuts this week or next week. So we'll see. I guess we'll see what happens. So it's just weird, the way ABC worded it makes it sounds worse. Fox News, inflation rises 3% in September over last year. Again, that's the reason I looked at ABC News. Consumer prices rose 3% in September. No, inflation compared to and then they say compared to a year ago. So people are thinking, oh, prices went up 3% in September. But it's still below expectations. But they didn't mention in the ABC's headline that it's below expectations. Instead, they said extending a month-long uptick that has sent inflation to its highest level since January, government data shows. So they're featuring that it's the highest level since January. Others are saying it's below expectations. It's just fascinating how they read this differently. I put the ABC article in. Oh, and then here's their headline on their website. Inflation climbs to highest level since January. Beef prices soar. Now, that's fascinating. Consumer prices rose 3% in September compared to a year ago, extending a month-long uptick that has sent inflation to its highest level since January, government data showed Friday. The reading came in lower than economists' expectations. The fresh data marked a slight increase from a 2.9% year-over-year price increase recorded a prior month. An acceleration of price increases over recent months has coincided with the flurry of tariffs issued by President Trump. Now, what's wild about that is they said it's going to be terrible. A slight increase in prices. That doesn't indicate that the tariffs have made a huge impact in consumer prices. But beef prices, which are not affected by tariffs, soared nearly 15% over the year ending in September, data showed. Trump has set off outcry among some ranchers over a plan to import beef from Argentina in an effort to reduce U.S. prices. Part of the reason the prices are so high is there's the lack of inventory this year. There's not as many cows. There was a drought. There were fewer, fewer cows born, whatever. So beef prices soared nearly 15% over the year. Egg prices, however, a long-time symbol of rising costs, fell almost 5% in September. The price of eggs stands now 1% lower than where it was a year ago. The price of coffee has surged 19% over the past year, the data showed. White House touted the September inflation numbers coming in below economists' expectations on Friday, with Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt posting on social media that they were good news for American families. Leavitt also said on X that the ongoing government shutdown will likely result in no inflation report for October, which will leave businesses, markets, families, and the Federal Reserve in disarray, and so on and so forth. So there's the whole article. That's interesting. But I'm just fascinated the wording they decide to use. When some people are trying to paint it as a rosy picture, some trying to paint it as doom and gloom. So there you go. Thank you, TC, dropping a 6th spot in the tip jar. Appreciate that. Okay, so TC Nutjobs, the moist squirrel, has a daily sacrifice of TC the Nutjob moist squirrel. Okay, so who's he? I gotta look up who this is. TC says today's sacrifice, as in he will do her to save America, is Grace Napolitano. I will take her and her white hair into my bed for America. Okay, let's look up this person. Grace Napolitano. Here we go. Hang on. Oh my. Oh my. Okay. Hello. Hi, Lord Stanhope. Hi, Select Boy.
Yeah, boy.
The best picture of this bunch is this one. It's got to be that one. Hang on. I'll move it over so you can see the damn thing. Okay. This one right here. that little chunk of hair coming down there. Well, God, I can't. But this is going to be in the links today, right there. It's going to be in the links. Okay, TC, you're doing your duty for America. All right, let's go through the rest of it quickly. God. White House is still trending. People are still bitching about the renovation. And I even put it in my thumbnail today. I got to tell you, the insanity over this ballroom thing. Here's something interesting I want to point out that maybe not enough people on the internet are pointing out. So, yes, Donald Trump is redoing the East Wing, which was built, the latest version of the East Wing was built in 1942 during the Second World War, while people were on, food and product rations. In fact, I still have, my grandparents had some World War II ration books. I have some of them because they didn't use them all during World War II. And, because people are saying, oh, we're in this financial crisis, or the government shutdown, and Donald Trump has people out there renovating the White House. People losing their SNAP benefits and whatever. Yeah. And Franklin Roosevelt built the East Wing in the middle of a war when people were on rations. But anyway, that's not the point I was going to make. The point I was going to make is, there have been so many different renovations to the White House since its existence. The latest one, when President Obama took the tennis court and made a basketball court out of it and put some bleachers and shit in it. And, you know, but that, you know, I didn't care of that one either. You know, whatever. If that's what you're going to do, that's what you're going to do. But here's something about this ballroom that we're talking about. The picture I put up there, let me see if I can find it. So back when Obama was president, his first state dinner at the White House took place in a tent, a temporary tent they put up outside the White House. And more than one president in the past has said, you know, the White House probably needs a better entertaining space. And so that's what Trump decided to do. And these people are losing their mind over this. And so now they're going to take this part of the West Wing. This is what the two photos here are what I put in the thumbnail. This is the current, what it looks, except this is all gone because the East Wing's on. And now they're going to add this with a facade that matches the White House. That'll be used as an event center and used for a number of different things that they do at the White House without having to rent tents, which is, I think, if you're bringing in someone for a state dinner and you got them in a temporary tent, I think it's going to be, I think that's kind of tacky, but whatever. People are losing their minds over this. I mean, just people bitching left and right about it. And so I'm in the category of I don't care, but of course I wanted to show you. Here's Whoopi Goldberg from The View. I haven't even listened to it, but I know it's going to be just stupid enough that I can make fun of her. Here we go.
Mike, I just want to point out that none of those things were done without permission. Everybody knew it was happening. This, nobody knew when it was happening. Nobody knows how it's happening. You say that it's being paid for by other people, but you know it's always going to come down to the people. The people are always going to end up paying something. So I don't understand why you don't get that people are saying, wait a minute, nobody asked, I don't remember asking for a ballroom. Right.
Yes. They're hung up, I think, on the word ballroom, which I'll get to in a minute.
And also to say that Obama put in a basketball court is like saying, oh, should we do
Mike?
Oh, I don't even know what she was going to say, but I'm sure it's going to be stupid. But let's see. I like this guy, so we're just going to listen. I don't know what he's going to say, but I'm going to listen to his take anyway, because I'm sure he's going to have some words of wisdom. Let's listen to this dude.
So, yeah, here we go again. Although I'd never support Trump or anyone who supports Trump crowd is about to have a full-blown identity crisis. Why? Do pray tell. That privately funded list just came out. And guess who's helped funding that new White House ballroom? Still not your tax dollars. No. Some of your favorite brands. Let's start with Apple. Yeah, that device that you're probably watching this on. The same one that you post Trump as a fascist from. I hate to tell you, you just made a campaign donation with Face ID. Better chuck that iPhone and grab a flip phone, Patriot. Salute. Comcast. Time to unplug. No Netflix, no Hulu. Just sit there and stare at a blank screen and think about your life choices. You okay over there? Google. You better not Google how to cancel Prime, because congrats, you just supported Trump twice. Why? Because guess who's next? Amazon. Yeah, that same place that you order your fake ass eyelashes and that live, laugh, love sign that you definitely don't live, laugh, or love by. You better delete Prime.
This is hilarious.
Guess it's back to waiting in line at Walmart like the rest of us peasants, since you're on your iOS and all, you know. Bougie. HP. Hope you didn't print that no hate in my state sign on an HP printer. That's basically a GOP ATM now. Time to handwrite your protest in crayon, champ. Lockheed Martin. You scream defund the military and now your defense contractors out here buying chandeliers for said ballroom. You're basically sponsoring the next Marine Corps ball, my friend. Meta. That orange man bad meme you posted, it's hanging on the wall in the new ballroom. Doing the cha-cha. Delete your account because you're more than likely watching this on a Meta platform and listening to this at the same time just by watching. Microsoft. Word, Teams, Outlook, all of it. It's basically Microsoft now. Dust off that typewriter and live your truth. And lastly,
Microsoft.
Every pink phone and text.
Wait a minute. I missed the last one. Microsoft.
Time just by watching. Microsoft. Word, Teams, Outlook, all of it. It's basically Microsoft now. Dust off that typewriter and live your truth. And lastly, T-Mobile. Every pink phone and text trashing Trump, yeah, you just pay for the drywall. If you're serious about not supporting Trump or anyone who supports Trump, start packing. Unplug, unfollow, uninstall. You're moving to the woods with a rotary phone and 2 pigeons. Have a good one. So, yeah.
Okay, that's funny as hell. I like that guy. He's hilarious. All right. Don't care about the ballroom. I'm just like, it's like, I didn't care about the basketball court. I didn't care about any, I didn't care that Nixon put a bowling alley in the fucking thing. I don't care. They live there. They do shit. And you know what? Let me make my point I was going to make before though. By the way, speaking of ballroom, lack of ballroom in the White House has been an issue for decades. Okay, that meme. Here's the thing. Trump's not the first president who said that they don't have adequate entertainment space. Shut up, computer. They don't have adequate entertainment space. The ballroom is still going to be a functioning part of the White House. And what's different about this particular renovation than some prior renovations, like, for example, turning the tennis courts into basketball court or putting a bowling alley in the White House. The difference between this renovation and those is that every president from here on out will be able to use that facility because they host events at the White House all the time. And now every president from here until eternity can use it. It's a space that everyone can use the space. Unlike changing a tennis court to a basketball court or putting a bowling alley. What if your president doesn't bowl? Well, then the bowling alley is useless. But you put a entertainment space, a meeting space, a dinner space, a place that can be used for multiple functioning things at the White House. Every president will use it. Your state dinners can be done there. Everything. So it's just kind of crazy that people are just having a fit over this. It's the people's house. Yeah. Will it be an improvement to the people's house? I don't know. The rendering of that drawing I saw, it looks like it's a pretty good useful thing. And if it matches the exterior of the White House, then it's not a problem. So that's it. I didn't even have that. I didn't even have that on the screen. There, I'll put it back on the screen again. Those are the rendering of what it's going to look like when they're done. Okay, and it's it's far off so that you can still take pictures of the White House. All right, thank you, Adam Thaler, dropping a 5 spot in the tip jar with no message. Well, I thank you very much. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you via YouTube Super Chat. So thank you, sir. All right, let's move on, and then let's go to Friday Q&A. Oh, all right, let me get through this quickly now. Oh, I did all this, didn't I? Oh, snap. And I don't mean, oh, snap, but I mean, snap was on my list. So there's also a big hullabaloo about SNAP benefits about to end, or that the SNAP benefits and some of the checks that are supposed to go out November 1st may not go out November 1st because of the government shutdown. And so a lot of people are trying to pin this on the Republicans. But U.S. Senator John Fetterman, did I put him separately here? I don't think I did. This is going to be a separate post because this deserves it. John Fetterman is one of the Democrats who voted to open the government. Here's John Fetterman making sense like he often does.
Hi, here we are, and our government remains closed. And I think that's failure. And I'm the guy that's going to consistently vote for country over party. I'm always going to vote for paying our military over the party. I'm always going to vote for paying the Capitol Police over my party. And I'm going to continue to fight for the 2 million Pennsylvanians that depend on SNAP to feed themselves. And I'm also going to fight for the same 400,020 Pennsylvanians that depend on those tax credits to make health insurance more affordable. 2 things are true. And now we can fight for all of them. as long as our government is open. My vote is going to remain firmly on keeping our government open, and I'm going to continue to fight for all of those Pennsylvanians that I'm honored to represent here.
So what he's referencing is yesterday, the Senate, the Democrats in the Senate, voted down a proposal to pay the military and Capitol Police and essential government workers during this shutdown that the Democrats are forcing on the government, and they voted that down too. And so basically, they're full of shit. They are holding America hostage over their pet issues, whatever they are. It doesn't matter what they are. All this continuing resolution was going to do is keep the government funded, running. The bills being paid, the people getting paid, whatever, until they finish their budget negotiations. Now, I'm not a fan of continuing resolutions at all. I think they should get the 12 appropriations bills done one at a time like they're supposed to in a timely manner. But since they haven't done that, the Democrats, in order to try to get their $1.2 trillion of additional spending put back into the budget of the United States of America, they're holding America hostage. And it doesn't matter if it's for, health care for illegal aliens. It doesn't matter what it's for. You can negotiate it with the government open, but they've chosen to not do it. Here's Tim Scott on the same subject. Why are they okay?
Or refuse to do what they did 13 times. I got to tell you, Democrats need to reopen the government. The super shutdown has gone on long enough. We're now at the verge of seeing more than 250,000 South Carolina households lose their SNAP benefits because the Democrats, thirsty for power, refuse to do what they did 13 times under President Biden, open the government. Listen, put Americans first. Put the most vulnerable Americans first. Reopen the government. The time is now to the end, for the end. Please end the Schumer shutdown. I voted to do so more than a dozen times. It's now time for Democrats to join us. Reopen the government. Do it today.
No, they don't. They want it. They're trying to look. I don't think Democrats are winning this argument. I think everyone knows why we're shut down. It's not because of the Republicans. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, by the way, yeah, people are on TikTok saying that churches should feed people. Churches do feed people. My church does, even though I don't go to my church anymore. They've been doing that for 30 years, even with SNAP benefits. We have our own food pantry that we have and all kinds of stuff. Churches already do that. But let's see, what's this? Let's see. People are now talking about how the government shut down and how people are going to losing SNAP benefits. Now content creators are getting on TikTok and demanding and throwing the responsibility on the church to feed these people. They are quoting scripture about how we're to feed the poor. I would like to remind you of scripture also. If anyone will not work, neither shall he eat. Oh, Thessalonians 3:10. We are to feed the poor, not the lazy. Oh, damn. Well, I don't like that attitude either. In theory, I don't like that attitude either. But Cryptic, Church's chicken are good. Yeah, Church's chicken is wonderful. But look, this is 100% a Democrat created crisis, because they're trying to create a crisis. They create a crisis and they try to blame it on the Republicans. It's some dumb shit if you ask me. All right, that's all I'm going to do now. I've got a whole bunch of other stuff open, but it's Friday Q&A day. I'm just not going to do it because, ladies and gentlemen, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, why is that working? There we go. Hey, it's time for your favorite part of the week, Friday Q&A. It's Friday Q&A. Ask me anything. I'm going to ask you to chill out on the question. Okay, it's not as big a board today as it usually is, but we'll see what happens as this goes along. I'm going to get to as many questions as I can. We're going to try to get through all of them. And Friday Q&A, where you can ask me anything. It can be serious, it can be funny, it can be dumb, or all of the above, or it could be about current events, it could be about me, it could be about, the family, what I'm going to do this weekend, because, you guys ask me a lot of stuff. So let's start. First question is not from Avocados Diablo. I'm shocked. Thank you for putting the spaces in, but now I know that you don't have to do that every time anymore. First question is from Kara Soldier. And speaking of chicken, because this is kind of appropriate because Crypto just mentions church's chicken. Kara Soldier asks, if you had to choose a chicken place, be it Popeyes, KFC, or Chick-fil-A, which would you eat at? There's a place called Pollo Campero. It's this fried chicken that a bunch of Mexicans make, and it is amazing. But I don't know it's a small chain, I guess. I don't know where it's from, but it's amazing. The seasoning's good, and they have really good sides too. They have all kinds of sides. They have sides that you don't normally get. They have like Mexican rice. They have fried plantains, however you say that. And then they have a couple different good Mexican drink. They have this one mango drink, and they also have what's that? What's that white horchata? Is that what it's called? The Mexican drink, horchata. They have that too. Really, really good. Of the ones you named, I would generally go Popeyes though, because you can go with the whole chicken pieces or sandwiches or whatever. But Pollo Campero is amazing if you ever can find a Pollo Campero. Midnight asks, hello Midnight, if you could think of any word, what would the first word be? What the hell kind of question was that? Well, you answered the question. It would be what? Because you said if you could think of any word, what would be the first? What would the first word be? I'm just kind of doing this experience style, so there you go. Kara Soldier asked for a breakfast place, Shoney's, IHOP, Cracker Barrel, or Waffle House. Wait, she is meaning a hard word for spelling. What? I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, let me get back to this question. For a breakfast place, Shoney's, IHOP, Cracker Barrel, or Waffle House? Okay, if I only could choose between the four, probably Cracker Barrel. But I am a huge fan of small local diners, preferably one that has a little counter besides just tables. And because that's what we always look for when we go on the road. We do our little one day or our mini trips, our daycations, our road trips. We always look for just a good local greasy spoon diner. And it's not going to be a chain. So there you go. Avocados Diablo asks, why are the three most popular bears in children's literature, Winnie the Pooh, Paddington, and Rupert, all from England? That place is not famous for having bears. Is it? Or is that place not famous for having bears? That's a good question. I mean, look, now if you kind of move out of the realm of literature, Smokey the Bear is not from England, but yeah, are there bears in England? I didn't even think there were bears in England. How did they even get there? They swim there? I don't know. That's weird. All right. Let's see. Avocados Diablo asks, have you ever had a week-long argument with yourself and lost? No, but I've had no, because I was going to say the argument was with my scale, and I have often lost that one, although I've been winning for the last couple of years on that one. But a week-long argument, you know what had happened? If you have a week-long argument with yourself over something, like you're trying to decide something, and then you figure out that you end up choosing the wrong one, yes, it can happen. Jay Blizza asks, do you know Dewey? Well, hell yeah, I know Dewey. I always know. I've got GPS on my phone, and I'm one of those people, okay, if I've ever been somewhere, unless it's been like 20 or 30 years, and even then I usually find my way. I'm like one of these directional genius type people. I'm a directional savant. If I go to somewhere one time, I can find it again, unless they change the streets. It's just a weird thing that I can do. Like right now, if I wanted to get to, say that Jerry's Bar and Grill at the Northwest Angle, I could drive there from here, like right now, and I could go straight to it in the route that probably the shortest route, and even not even using the same route I took the last time I got there. Just because whenever I see a map even if like I see a map that has 3 or 4 different alternative routes, I can use any of them. I don't know why. It's just a weird thing that I have in my head. So I do know Dewey. Ms. Wild Wolf asks, if you could ride a tiger in the Sahara Desert, would you? No, because first of all, that would be a very inefficient mode of transportation in the Sahara Desert, since tigers are basically jungle animals and they'd probably get tired and die, and then I'd be stuck in the Sahara Desert. I would much prefer a camel. So, and by the way, I have in fact ridden a camel before. When we went on our trip to Spain, we took a ferry over to Tangier, and they had a little camel ride there. I even have video of it. Maybe I'll put that on the internet one of these days. All right. Let me pause the Q&A for a couple of super chats. Gunfox dropping a tray in the tip jar. Thank you very much. Saying, Marty, the difference between the space shuttle and normal aircraft is the normal aircraft, the wings are made to be replaced. The space shuttle, the wings are welded to the frame and is made to handle a vacuum while being a pressure vessel. That's a good point. That does probably, if they have to take it apart, it'll decrease the structural integrity of the space shuttle. But, and I think the fight over moving it's dumb, and I don't care if they move it or not. But the only thing, I guess my only question is, does the space shuttle need to have structural integrity if it's never going to be used again? For example, those planes in New Orleans, in the World War II Museum, I don't think any of them are functional anymore, or never will be functional. Does it change their historical significance? Not one bit. So, I personally, I don't see the point of moving it, but that part of the fight is the dumb part to me. Maybe that's just me. But thank you. I appreciate your expertise, and you are the expert. And so that maybe has me leaning towards them. Maybe they shouldn't move it. Okay. So thank you very much. And then Carousel to drop it a deuce to the tip jar. Greatly appreciated. Says, there is a local place in Irving, Texas called Shorty's that my grandparents and I would go to on Saturdays. I even have a mug for them where you get free coffee if you brought it. Really a good place to eat. In Irving, Texas? Good. Next, because I'm going to be in Texas probably in the middle of next year to go visit one of my best friends from college. So, and he lives in Frisco, but we'll date. Lady Boomer and I tend to day trip wherever we go, so we might have to do that. I love good local restaurants. There's a place called Z's Cafe here. There's a place called Junior's. Where were we? Up in Hibbing, Minnesota. There's a really great, just small town diner in the middle of old downtown. Had the greatest food, man. It was really good. I just love little small hole in the wall corner diners or whatever. In St. Paul, Minnesota, there was Mickey's Cafe. It was a railroad car, like or a trolley car that they converted to a restaurant. It still sits next to the St. Paul Company's old building. Really great place. All right, moving on. I'm doing good for time. Let's see. Ms. Wild Wolf asks, if you had to drink one drink for life, what would it be and why? Water. If I had to drink one drink for life, it would be water, because water sustains you. Miss Wild Wolf also asks, wait. Oh, you forgot to switch over. You were talking to Alexander the Scourge, Tyre. Good morning. Long time no see. Yes, that was in the wrong side. Avocado Diablo, thank you. Another tray of the tip jar. Asked or says, also the way the space shuttle was designed, it was not made to be taken apart, and how they put it in the building. The museum had to have the roof removed, and yes, it matters due to if taken apart, some of the sections might never be able to line up again. Okay. Now I'm even more against moving it. Okay. So yeah, thank you. Again, your expertise is greatly appreciated. Next question, Avocados Diablo asks, have you ever considered what it would be like to be a two-legged blind deaf elephant allergic to peanuts? You know, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, Avocados Diablo. I haven't. But now I'm trying to figure that out. And look, first of all, peanuts are not a normal staple of elephants anyway. I think peanuts are kind of a treat that we got in circuses and shit. But it would suck, because that would be a treat for an elephant, and especially if you're blind and deaf and someone starts feeding you peanuts, think of the reaction that you would have. So, and then a two-legged elephant, what do you call a two-legged elephant? It's kind of hard. Oh, by the way, here's the other thing about that. Okay, if you're a two-legged elephant, that means you're missing two legs. Which would be the hardest two legs to be missing? Like, you could miss both front legs and just kind of shuffle yourself around. Two back legs, you'd be dragging your hind end around. Or imagine if you were missing one leg on both the left side. You could only kind of go in circles. Or if you had one leg in the front on the right and one leg in front and the back, or in the back and the right or left, whatever, that would suck too. It would be suck to be a two-legged elephant. I'm just telling you. Okay, Marty, now you see why I said it was stupid. Yes, I do see that. I do. All right. So thank you for making me think about that, AD. Now I'm going to be thinking about two-legged elephants all day. Midnight asks, what would you do if I showed up to your house with my homemade lasagna with my mom? Okay. Don't be showing up at my house. Because no, I is it good? Do you make a good lasagna? I love me some lasagna. I'm like fucking Garfield when it comes to lasagna. We'd be eating some lasagna. Me, Lady Boomer, your mom, the dog, everybody. We'd be having some lasagna. All right. Lord Stanhope asks, why is it inappropriate to give out sandwiches for Halloween? Don't people understand kids need gabagool? What the fuck is gabagool? What the hell's gabagool? Is that a real thing? Gabagool. That can't be real. That can't be a real thing. Gabagool is colloquial, Americanized pronunciation of the Italian cured pork product known as capicola, also referred to capo or capocola. Okay, so that's a type of salami. Okay, yeah, maybe. Kids need their gabagool. I didn't know that was another name for capicola. I'd never heard of that before. Me not knowing something about food, that's amazing. Okay, it's inappropriate because you just can't give out homemade treats anymore. I remember when my mom would make Rice Krispie bars for the Halloween trick-or-treaters, and That's just not cool anymore because people put razor blades and shit in them. Although I think that was always a myth. Anyway, Avocado Diablo asks, if you were going to enter a nude drunk pinball tournament, where you could choose which pinball machine to play on, which would you choose? You know what? I don't know about all that preliminary stuff, the nude drunk pinball tournament, but I remember when the Kiss pinball machine came out, and I just thought that was a really cool pinball machine. Now, pinball machines are much more intricate than that. But yeah, that Kiss pinball machine was really cool. So I would choose the Kiss pinball. Kiss as in, the band Kiss. All right, Lord Stand-Up asks, no, but seriously, why can't I pass out cigars to trick-or-treaters? Motel Cristos are great. There's nothing saying that you cannot pass out cigars to trick-or-treaters. But only the 18 and older ones. I mean, look, on Halloween, this guy, I'm like that house in the neighborhood that hands out full-size candy bars. And I say, yeah, take 2 or 3 or whatever, because we do Snickers bars and what did we have? I've had Snickers, Twix, and bags of M&Ms. The last time we did it, we didn't do it last year. And I also have a cooler full of beer for the parents. I don't know why. I guess maybe because I was at a friend's house in Wisconsin once, and they were handing out beer to the parents. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. So I usually have a cooler full of beer for the parents. Although the last couple of Halloweens has been too cold for that shit, and they're like, I'm already too cold. But anyway, yeah. So if I can hand out beer to trick-or-treaters, now granted, they're the 21 and older trick-or-treaters. You know what I mean? There's nothing saying you can't hand out cigars too. Now, just don't hand them to the kids because parents might get pissed. Okay, where was I? Avocado Diablo asks, do you think cannibals have their own version of Rocky Mountain oysters? I'm sure they do, AD. I'm sure they do. They're just, they. I guess they just call them Arkansas oysters or something. Anyway, Avocado Diablo asks, if you were making a hockey team manned only with serial killers, who would you play as goalie? We're back on the serial killer questions. The only answer for all of the serial killer questions is Ed Gein. Okay. Although Ted Bundy might be a little more athletic. I'm just saying. Okay. Ms. Wildwolf asks, how do you get Johnny Boomertech to pin the link automatically? Well, I don't. Am I supposed to tell you my secrets now? Come on now. I'm not going to tell you my secrets. Just saying. Avocado Diablo asks, if just once in your life you could punch anyone on a television show through the television, who would it be? And it can't be a past TV show since your punch would travel through time. I am not advocating violence in any way, shape, or form, especially against women, because that would just be wrong. Joy Behar. Okay, let's see, Lord Stand-Up asks, instead of pumpkin spice, can we make rye spice the official taste of fall? Rye spice? I don't even know what that would be. How about we just make an old fashioned the official taste of fall? Avocado Diablo asks, if gammon is the meat of the back legs of a pig, isn't the name of the game backgammon redundant? Oh, like caraway seeds? Rye spice, like caraway seeds, right? that's basically what rye spice is. I'm sorry, I went backwards. Avocado AD, sure. Is that another food thing I didn't know? Hang on a second. Everyone's coming up with food shit I'd never heard of. Yes, that's simple roast gammon. That's basically a ham. It's just ham. Oh, it's British. Oh, it's British and Irish cuisine. Gammon is the hind leg of pork after it has been cured by dry salting, brining, or may not be smoked. It's fucking ham. I don't call it gammon. Good Lord, who came up with this shit? Okay, yes, backgammon, that would be very redundant then. Avocado Diablo asks, speaking of food day, have you ever eaten a beef tongue sandwich? No, but I have eaten beef tongue. Yeah, it's still weird to me. I don't want things that I'm eating tasting me while I'm eating it. I'm just saying. Lord Santa asks, since you mentioned the World Polio Day, what was it like to be living through the Black Plague? Oh, I get it. I'm old. No one's ever told an old joke in the show. Bitch. AD asks, is dropping acid and going to a water park on your bucket list? If not, it should be. I've never thought of it. See, I've never been a drug person though, so I don't even know what dropping acid would be like. But that would be a little bit trippy, I think. You know, you're all fucked up and you're all of a sudden you're sliding down in this tube filled with water. Like, whoa, man. Okay, Lord Stanhope, this weekend, would you like to sample some black metal? It's heavy metal just for black people. You mean like Living Color? Like, I get Onyx is not really black metal. Wait, did I say for colored people or black people? Oh, no, I said Living Color. There's some black metal bands. There's some good ones, man. Anyway, yeah, sure, why not? Avocado Diablo asks, have they considered just renting out Richard Gere's colon to move the space shuttle? Yeah, that might be effective. Metal of color, please. That's funny. Okay, Avocado Diablo. Oh, no, you already asked that one. Avocado Diablo asks, what is the weirdest, completely niche museum you have been to? Oh, the Museum of Death. I've already told you this. In New Orleans, there's a museum called the Museum of Death. It's a serial killer museum. It's all serial killers. I'd say the second, well, I don't know if it's completely weird, but it actually was kind of cool. The Greyhound Bus Museum in Hibbing, Minnesota is pretty cool, actually. But it's just Greyhound buses. It's old buses. It's a big giant room full of old buses. They have the bus that they used for, like in the movie 42, that Jackie Robinson movie. They borrowed a bus from the Greyhound Bus Museum in Hibbing, Minnesota for that movie. And it's sitting there in the thing. But yeah, the Museum of Death in New Orleans probably was it. And the Spam Museum too. That was, yeah. Okay. Thank you, Lord Stone. That was a good, I purposely go to weird museums or museums of niche museums that, you already knew this. But for those who don't know, we love going to niche museums. We were in Oceanside, California. We're at the Surfing Museum. The Mob Museum in Las Vegas. That's a really good one. But yeah, are just a lot of local little museums that are just of something very specific. It's kind of actually fun to do. All right, Avocado Diablo, which of the brothers Gibbs do you think had the highest cocaine tolerance? Oh man, probably Robin. I'm gonna guess Robin. He's the one with the long hair and never wore the hat, but not Barry. Lord Stand-Up asks, what is your favorite way to desecrate a corpse? Grape Kool-Aid. Avocado Diablo asks, is it weird to keep one of those photo albums with the static cling plastic cover pages full of scabs you have peeled off during your life? AD, let's just say that would be a niche hobby. That would definitely be a niche hobby. Oh, God. Avocado Diablo asks, if you're going to write a children's book with the main character that was an anthropomorphic syphilis-ridden brain, what would you name that character? Cindy. Avocado Diablo asks, if you find a cooler full of perfectly good kidneys lying on the side of the road, what would be the best way to sell them? Baked in a pie. Oh, God. Lord Stanhope, champagne, Prosecco, or that California sparkling wine? It depends on what I'm using it for. Prosecco is really good for making like mimosas or cranberry mimosas. Champagne, celebrating, a little dry, whatever. California sparkling wine, well, sometimes it just depends on which kind, because you can get dry, you can get brut, you can get sweet. There's all kinds of different things. So there, I don't have a preference. Lord Stand Up asks, if you had to give up beef or butter or cheese, you had a choice. You could either give up beef, butter, or cheese. Ooh. Probably cheese. Beef and butter. I could possibly give up cheese. Butter, tough. Because I use butter to cook a lot. Cheese, I don't put cheese on everything, so it'd have to be cheese. But I love me some beef. Selected Boy asks, what is the best pizza in your honest opinion? Oh my God. The best pizza. I can't, that's not fair. There are too many choices. Too many choices when it comes to pizza. My favorite ingredients though on a pizza are pepperoni, sausage, onion, and green olives. That's kind of me and Lady Boomer's thing. There's a place here in town called Carboni's that makes a really good thin crust pizza with those 4 ingredients. It's extra special. Lord Stanhope tells Ms. Wildwolf, don't tease me like that. What are we talking about here? Avocado Diablo asks, how many people out there you think have a colostomy bag fetish? Oh my God. Oh, you are nasty. Holy shit. Okay, stop asking questions because I'm already running out of time. I'm out of time, but I'm going to try to get through all these now. This is lightning round because Avocado Diablo, to answer your question, just one. Okay, lightning round. Where are we at? Avocado Diablo, will we ever see the Cocaine Baker or Golden Leech again? No. Lord Stanhope, what are good shots to give out to trick-or-treaters? NyQuil. Their parents will appreciate it. Lord Stanhope, would you be willing to put in the effort to bring back the word dope? You mean as a derogatory for drugs or cool? Like that's dope. People still say that's dope. Lord Stanhope asks, why does everyone have fries, but almost no one does them well? That's not true. In fact, where did we go the other day that had really good fries? A place called Shantytown Bar and Grill in Bloomington, Minnesota, had these great Parmesan garlic fries that we had with our meal, and they were delicious. Avocado Diablo asks, what is the best amusement park ride to go on naked? You know those slingshot things? It's like they have your 2-seat thing, and then the bing, and then you go up there and it bounces up and down. That'd probably be it, because then everyone's all flapping all around and shit, you know. Selected Boy asks, how is it that some of these folks are claiming that Trump is bulldozing the White House when they don't even know the difference between a bulldozer and an excavator? Yeah, good question. because a bulldozer would be very inefficient. They're using backhoes and shit. Lord Stanhope asks, in your honest professional opinion as an old person, how many times have people mentioned Snap and you just spelled out, I got the power? Doom, 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 doom. Yeah, many times. Every time I see it, I think, I got the power. Okay. Lord Stanhope asks, if you will dig 16 tons, what do you get? A little bit older and deeper in debt. Avocados Diablo, if aliens landed in your yard and offered you a fully crewed functioning spaceship, you could fly anywhere in the universe, and all you have to do was let them anally probe you for a week, would you? No! Nobody touches my butthole. Ms. Wild Wolf, will you play this video? I can't right now. I'm out of time. I'll do it. Maybe Monday we'll here. I'll put it in the links though. What is it? Oh, is this oh, Tom McDonald? Okay, well all right, I'll put it in the links. Lord Stand Up, have you ever eaten Chinese fried chicken, and has it ever made you curious to further explore what to do with pigeons? Yes and no. Yes and no. Midnight asks, when can I do your makeup? I don't wear makeup. Unless I'm in a play, like in a musical or a play or something in theater. If you're ever on the makeup crew of a theater production that I'm in, you can do my makeup. Midnight, would you agree with me that AD has been missed? Yes, we have missed you, AD, and I'm glad you're well. Midnight asks, what is your favorite drink besides coffee or beer? Lemonade, that cool, refreshing drink. Midnight asks, what is your favorite part of the day and why? I'm a morning person. Even if I have to work, I like being up in the morning, doing things, being productive. Midnight asks, where is one place you want to go? Oh my gosh, there's lots of places I want to go. I'd like to go to Cork, Ireland, because that's where my 4 great grandparents on my mother's side. My mother's 4 great grandparents immigrated to the United States from Cork, all 4 of them. So I want to go there someday, and that's in the plan. Selected Boy asks, is it true that rabbits know the multiplication tables by heart? Yeah, but they're sometimes wrong. Avocado Seattle asks, if you were going to learn a dead language, which would it be, and how could you do it since it was dead? Yeah, the latter question is tough, but the former question is easy. Well, I guess there's still people who translate some dead languages like Aramaic and Latin and a couple others. Sure, I would, but then how would you learn it? Well, you'd have to have a seance or some shit. Laura Santa asks, have you ever gone to a funeral just to make sure the person was dead? Yeah, no, I haven't. Midnight asks, do you know how to pronounce anti-disestablishmentarianism? I think I just answered your question. Avocados Diablo asks, would you rather have a giant squirrel ride as a mount, or the power to shrink yourself so you could ride a normal-sized squirrel? Yeah, I'm not shrinking myself. I appreciate and enjoy being my Silk Force self, so we just have to get a big-ass squirrel. Avocados Diablo asks, would you wear a green taffeta ball gown to go to your local Denny's to order a Grand Slam? I don't know why I would do that. Maybe for Halloween. I'm just saying. Lord Stanhope asks, if you gained the power to fart lightning, what would the first crowd you would go to? Well, first of all, I do have the power to fart lightning. Just ask Lady Boomer. And I am very careful with that because it can be very dangerous. So I'm not going to do it in a crowd. So the answer is no crowd. Avocados Diablo asks, have you ever made a potato gun? No, but that would be kind of cool. Laura Stanhope asks, could you take the grands trick-or-treating, you come to my place, and I offer a beer and a shot. It's magical, so what do you pick? Well, you're offering it to me or my grands? I'd have a beer, because I don't need to get too shit-faced while I'm taking my grands trick-or-treating. Avocados Diabli asks, is this the 3,752nd to last question? No, but it's close. Lord Stand Up, if you could pass out STDs like candy, what would you give the most? No. Bad. Avocados Diablo asks, if you eat enough hamburgers with 24 karat cold leaf on them, would you sure be worth money? And would that count as investing in your future? Well, it'd be your near future because it only takes a couple days for that to process through. Avocados Diablo asks, would you eat your body weight in fried cheese curds? No, I would. Oh God, that would be awful. You know how much I weigh? I could not eat 280 pounds of cheese curds. That'd be, oh God. Lord Stand-Up, is a wrap. Close. Ms. Wildwolf, is this your last question? Close. Avocados Diablo asks, if you ever gone to a funeral just to plant drugs on the corpse so they got caught with it trying to get into heaven? Only to my mortal enemies. And finally, the last question on Friday Q&A comes from Midnight, who's just snuck it in at the last second. Do you know how to pronounce Pseudomonas ultra microscopic silicava lacanius? No, I don't. Okay. And I see you added a question there, but I already said the last question was the last question. So that it will not be the last question. I'm not even going to ask it. So there, don't try to cheat the system. I am always watching. Okay. All right. That's it, guys. Thank you for joining me on the Morning Night Live. How would you like some links? There's a bunch of stuff in the whatchamacallit, the aggregator. Plus I had some articles open that I just didn't get to. Here they are. In fact, here they are is all I'm going to put. Here they are. There's the links. Got to go. Thank you. You all have a great weekend. Do something fun. Do something that you hadn't thought of doing already. Do something just off the cuff. Sometimes that's the best time you can have. I got to go. My name's PDawgKnight, and I'm out here. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comments section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.